Aloha and welcome back. This is Natasha. So today's going to be the last video in the Christmas card series. I'm a couple of days behind on posting this, but here I'm going to show you a couple of cards I made. So taking a piece of cardstock here, this background cardstock, I cut that down with a rectangle frame die. And then I'm taking some of this wood grain white cardstock and I'm going to be running that through my die cutting machine with that little sentiment die cut joy. And I did about 4 layers of that, so I stacked that up on top of each other there just to give it a little dimension. And then taking some gray cardstock I have in my stash, there's a little bit of a crease or something in the cardstock, but I figure not a big deal because I was going to run it through and emboss it with this We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder. So that mark is, you can't even tell. And plus 2, I was going to put this panel in front. And I left this whole process in just so you could see the way that I create, and maybe you have a similar way of being creative. But sorry, you'll see how this process goes. So I took some Simon Says Stamp white ink, and I'm gonna be taking a blender, like a mini blending tool, and I want to bring down the gray tone in this card, or sorry, on this cardstock. So very lightly going over the raised bumps. And then taking some Distress Oxide, the black soot, I'm going to be inking up around the outer edges of this panel here that I cut down. And the rectangle die that I used on this piece here is a stitched frame. I didn't get to mention that earlier. So I have a stitched frame around this cardstock here, my focal cardstock. So inking that up, just giving it a little bit darker tone, and taking this teal colored cardstock, I'm gonna be layering that with a white cardstock and then putting my focal point. So if you noticed, I got rid of that gray cardstock with the embossed background. It just wasn't what I was looking for, so I put that on the side to use for another card. So adhering this white piece onto my card base, and then I'm going to be adhering my focal point, the wood grain focal point, with some foam adhesive, or in this case I used Fun Foam. And then I am going to just be placing that joy sentiment with some liquid adhesive right there to the right hand side. I do like the Y, the ending of the Y kind of hanging off the side of the card there. Okay, and don't forget tittle on the top. And then I'm taking this shimmer pen, a Jelly Roll shimmer pen, and I'm gonna be just outlining all of the little ornaments on the tree. They're supposed to be white, but because I used the black soot oxide, it kind of dimmed the whiteness. So I'm just going to be using some of this shimmer pen to give it a little sparkle and shine. Gives it a really good touch, in real person. Okay, so I did that to both of the trees there. Gives it a nice little shimmer. And then I'm also going to be taking a gold Pentel metallic pen. Yeah, there it is. And I just wanted to add some embellishments to the toppers of these Christmas trees, because they kind of get lost. And since I did the black soot, it kind of just gets lost. So I'm just going to add a little bit to give it a little shine, so when the person is looking at the card, they can tell that there's something on the top of the trees. Alrighty, and this, I'm going to show you a little closer on how shiny that is. Okay, so here we go. Moving on to the next card, I am pulling out that gray cardstock with the embossed background, and I did go around the edges with some black soot. I took some of the stickers from that sticker pack that came in the Simon Says Stamp December card kit, and I did use my embossing buddy to get rid of the sticky so I could do my placement on my card base without the stickers sticking to my card base. And I also used a hillside die, borders die cut, and cut out some of this glitter, white glitter cardstock. I'm going to be placing that with some foam adhesive at the bottom of this gray panel, and then trimming off the excess there. Excess. I always say axis, jeez. And then taking my embellishments here, I'm just going to be making sure that I like the placement of it before I adhere these pieces down with some liquid adhesive. Okay, and once I get it where I want it, I'm going to just be applying some liquid adhesive to the back and then sticking that down to my panel here. Okay, and then doing the same thing with the reindeer. And then sticking it down there to the left. Okay, so going into the paper pack that came in the card kit, I picked out this blue falling snow pattern paper. And I am going to be cutting that down to make it a border around my focal piece that I had just done. So what I did was I really wanted to not waste this paper. So I took 2 dies, the stitch dies, and I cut the piece that I needed, the size that I needed on the outside here, this big piece. And then I took a smaller one and I cut out the inside so I could save that piece for another project. But it looks like I have a full piece behind that focal point. Okay, so taking that teal cardstock, I'm going to be taking some liquid adhesive and adhering my frame. It basically is a frame. So I'm going to be adhering that to my card front. Liquid adhesive is amazing because I can fiddle around with it since obviously I didn't put it on correctly. And then taking this panel here, my focal panel, I am going to be popping that up on some fun foam and adding that to the center of my card there. And you can't tell that there is a big hole missing. You just, to a person's eye, that looks like that whole panel is covered with that snow flurry background. All right, and that I added some snowflakes on that one just to give it a little bit of pop, and that is for that card. Let's move on to the last card in this video here. I am using the Santa stamp that came in the stamp set for the Simon Says Stamp card kit, and I'm going to be using my alcohol markers. In this case is the Spectrum Noir markers, and I'm going to be coloring out this cute little Santa with his list. So using some of my red markers, I did put it there at the top of the screen for you to reference. I am using CR8, it's my base color here, or my lightest color. Then I'm gonna move on to DR7 since it's my darkest color. I'm gonna just put that in my shadow areas there and then go backwards. So that's D7, and then I'm gonna layer, blend it out with the DR5 and then CR11 and then back to CR8. And that's how I did that whole process there. So I'm just going to leave in the coloring, just a little bit of the coloring in there for you. I didn't want to bore you with the coloring, but I do like to watch YouTube videos of some of the women coloring, especially if it's like a product that I have, like people who color with Spectrum Noir pens. I like to watch because I like to see how they blend and how, you know, their projects come out. So, okay, this is the beauty of video or movies. So this panel here that I'm coloring for you is not the panel that or not the stamped image that I ended up using in my card. This one just became a hot mess. So I am showing you here how I did the blending, and then I ended up having to restamp this Santa stamp on another piece of paper and then coloring it out again. Because, yeah, you know, I did hear, I've watched lots of YouTube videos where the red ink just bleeds. It just spreads. So this one, I don't know if you can already tell on the Santa hat on the left-hand side, she's starting to bleed into the white part of the Santa hat. Now you can't have a little bit of red in your white. So I had to start over again. And then even for the Santa outfit, for his little outfit, that starts to bleed into the paper and into his beard. So by the next day, this was a hot mess. So I had to start all over again. But I am going to show you what I got to color. So I did color his beard and the little parts of whatever was supposed to be white. I did add a little bit of IG1 and IG2 just to give it that look of white. And I am using true black, and I'm coloring in his belt and his boots. Okay, so here is my piece. I recolored it, fussy cut it out, and it's ready to go onto my card base, or my card here. So, sorry, taking some white cardstock as my card base. I am taking that from the cardstock that came, or the paper pack that came in the card kit. I am using that blue like flurries just to give it a background. And then I wanted to put something on the top and the bottom, like to frame it out. So I found this little gold, I don't know, decorative piece, and I put that with some adhesive on the top and the bottom of my blue piece there, or my blue banner, sorry. Okay, so then I'm going to be pulling out my stamping platform, and I just want to stamp my sentiment to the right hand side of the Santa. So I'm going to place Santa there for placement. I'm going to pull my stamp out of, I'm using a stamp from that stamp set from the Simon Says Stamp card kit, and it just says making a list, checking it twice. Super cute. So I stamped that out with some Lawn Fawn black ink there, and then I'm going to be using some liquid adhesive to adhere my little Santa down. Super cute. I love the way he came out. You know, sometimes it doesn't happen the first time around, but don't give up. Just keep pushing. Keep going through with the idea that you had in mind. Okay, and then I'm placing that there. I am gonna add a little bit of Wink of Stella to the little snow that he's standing on. And then taking a black Jelly Roll pen, I'm just outlining his little like half moons for his eyes, just to really pop it out. And then also I am just going over his little mouth. And then using some Nouveau drops, I'm going to use the crystal drops, and this is the bright white. And I just wanted to do like a little pom-pom on his Santa hat. So I'm just going to put that Nouveau right on his little pom-pom there for his Santa hat. Okay, and then I did adhere this whole panel. Before I adhere the panel, I did put some gems. So I just used some matte multi-medium and adhered some gems in a couple of different places on the card. Okay, and that looks fantastic. I adhered that panel down to my card base with some fun foam, and then I decided to come in with my Spectrum Noir glitter pen and add that to his Naughty and Light Nice list there. Give it some shimmer, and it has a lot of shimmer, guys. Okay, so here are the still shots of the 3 cards that I made. This is the last card. So sad for the Christmas series. Oh, it went by way too fast this year. I don't know if that's how you felt, but I really felt like it just went way too quick. So thanks for sticking with me through this Christmas card series. I had a blast doing it. It went way too quick. I wish I had more time to just put out more cards for you folks and, you know, just to enjoy the holiday season just a little bit longer. So I will catch you for the new year. Here we come, 2019. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you in the new year. Mahalo.